Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for January 19th, 2020 with your host, Beastmaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
We are in for a ride. A very, very long, probably problematic ride. Are you excited?
Granted, I have no one to blame but myself.
For suggesting this after we shit on Geo for a year.
Yes. But to be fair, I feel like I should at least give Ghost a second shot at this. Because it more bored me more so than ticked me off, whereas with Geo it was just no.
Just a lot of nope. Just nope. Just nope, 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 nope.
And how I look at it with Geo, if I could keep telling myself, well, let's give them a shot, and they kept stumbling over it repeatedly, then maybe Ghost deserves a second shot?
Well, there's some aspects of Ghost you probably need to know going in, and so do you at home. Because, like I said, we're going through not only all of Ghost, but all of the related Ghost movies, which means, yes, we are watching Movie Tyson Genesis. Yes, we are watching Kamen Rider Ichigo. Yes, we are watching 100 Icons. And yes, we are going to end on not only Heisei Generations, the first one, but also the Spectre V Cinema. We have 5 goddamn movies in our future. 5 movies. That is the most movies we've had to watch for this. And I will tell you what, that last one, not very good. Oh, because I was reminded about a part of it, and I'm like, fuck me, that did happen, didn't it? God damn it. Well, that's fun to know. I mean, besides the other stuff I do remember about that movie. So, how are you feeling going into this?
Well, seeing as how looking at your notes, I'm seeing something that's making me be like, there might be a point I might change my mind on this show. I'm like,
which part?
Gonna take a while. Oh, the fact that the writer changes.
Oh yeah, that part. We'll get to that part. Oh, it doesn't change. He just doesn't write for the show for large chunks of it.
So he changes. Because that's basically a point of, yeah, you just come in to write whatever you feel is necessary and let everyone else do the work.
Yes. There's a reason Ghost is kind of a consensus in the middle, is because we'll get to that part. But first, I guess, just as a clarification, we were watching this show on a week-to-week basis until certain points. Where did you stop?
I'm literally thinking it was either the Boost debut or shortly thereafter. I think I have seen the forums for going past that, but that's about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure you've seen Mugen and Grateful because they were all in the first Heisei Generations movie, and I believe you've watched that. So you've seen all of the show relevant ones.
Yeah.
You just don't know the context for any of them.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Don't worry. Half of them are dumb. Because I fell off watching the show towards the back end of its run. Probably somewhere in the 30s. Somewhere past Mugen. So somewhere past the final form. I finally dropped watching the show weekly. But I kept up with it on the outside looking in through previews and people talking about it. So I'm vaguely aware of what happens through the rest of the show. Also, I have watched all the movies except Kamen Rider Ichigo that we're watching. Ichigo, I'm going in blind. That should be a fun experience.
I think... I think that one's going to be an interesting experience because I seem to recall we both said no.
We both said no before that movie.
Yeah.
Mainly because the movie before that was Kamen Rider Songo and immensely fucked that movie.
That's
less so than Kamen Rider Tyson, but still fuck that movie. The only thing good that came out of the movie was the Yongo Net movies, which was actually good because I watched that and it was good. But no. Which means after this point, the only movie I will have at least not watched out of all of those is the X8 one. The last one. The one that has all three of the main Amazon riders cameo in it real quick for a fight scene because we need to promote that the not for kids movie or not for kids series in the kids movie. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's where we stand going into this. Once more onto the ride with Takaru and crew. Oh boy. So, just some quick little stat stuff out of the way. The show debuted October 4th, 2015. Our main writer is Takeru Fukuda, and our main director is Satoshi Muraoda. Now, as Tommy pointed out in my notes, I have listed a certain episode count out of episode count because infamously, Ghost's main writer did not write most of the show. Before you saw the note, what were you going to guess how many episodes he wrote?
I seem to recall that you had mentioned something about, that was the problem, was the fact that he wrote only like half of the episodes. So, I mean, truthfully, I probably would have guessed he'd wrote a few more than what is in the notes, but not many.
Unfortunately, I made a count of it, and yes, he only wrote 22 episodes. Let me recount just real quick.
I would have pegged, 25, 26 kind of area, but because of what you had already said, way before we even thought of touching the show, so, yeah.
So yeah, he only wrote 22 of our 50 episodes. Yes, it's 50 episodes.
Yes, that's going to make the last 2 episodes of the show be really weird, I have a funny feeling. Because no matter
we have to
how hard that's going to be to not do it, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So, here are the episode numbers he actually did write. He wrote episodes 1 through 5, so at least the first 5 episodes.
Oh, so at least everything we're covering this week.
Yes, and then 7 and 8. And then 11 and 12. And then 15 and 16. And then 19 and 20. And then 23. And then 27 and 28. And then 39 and 40. Then 47, 48, 49, and 50. There's some large chunks here missing on the back half. Yeah, there's some large chunks here missing on the back half of the episodes. He's missing for about 11 episodes.
In the middle of the series.
Yeah.
Where plot stuff happens. So... Oh boy.
He also wrote some other material as well. He wrote the prologue to the 100 Icons movie, a 4-part miniseries. we are not covering that. He also wrote the movie. He wrote the V Cinema, which is the Spectre V Cinema. And he also wrote the Ghost novel, which is to, as far as I know, make Genesis work in continuity, because Genesis does not work in continuity. So as you have noticed,
nothing works in continuity. Sorry.
As you will have,
sorry,
as
that one just kind of came out because nothing does.
So, as you would have noticed, he had nothing to do with Genesis or Kamen Rider Ichigo. Would you care to guess who wrote Ichigo?
Who?
In a way. With a special writing credit from Hiroshi Fujioka, aka Kamen Rider Ichigo himself. So, yes, our main writer had nothing to do with either one of those movies, or his, that are related to his series. He also had nothing to do with Heisei Generations. So, yay! Our main writer continues to have nothing to do with Ghost, the series that he was hired to mainly write. Also, you know that problem about the villain sticking around for too long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be prepared, because that started with the series.
And
that
truthfully didn't really stop.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no,
it's up to 01 to break this cycle.
I pray to God it does. I need a villain that dies not long after he's introduced in a definitive fight and is not fucking jobbed out 5 weeks in a row by our heroes as we find new and interesting ways to try to kill them that don't stick.
Dies and or at least has some form of redemption by the end of it.
Yes.
Because the reason I say that is I can see, as far as 01 goes, Thouser being the bad guy for a while, but probably not final villain.
No, I'm fully expecting that not to happen.
So at some point I foresee that changeover to happen there. I just hope that he is not so good guy, I guess is the best term to say. Because he's not truthfully full out villain. But
yeah. Also, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah, I kind of hope that changes late. That way we don't have that whole, oh look, we have 20 episodes of the same final villain. But yeah.
I had to make sure my dog didn't have anything, because I thought I heard him pop something. And I was like, oh no, he's got something he shouldn't have. I check. Nope, nothing. Good.
But yeah, like I was saying with Thouser, I really hope that he stays not so good guy for a while and then has a redemption to kind of pass the buck to the next person or thing.
Yeah, interesting enough, he's not been added to like the 5 rider sequence that bookends the opening. Like, that's still just those 5 riders that we've had since the beginning.
But I don't see him getting killed off.
Right. I just find it weird because I'm like, wait, Jin's dead at the moment. Like, I know he's coming back from Toy Information, but I'm like, he's dead at the moment. I figured he'd take Jin's place in this, or he would be added on. But nope, it's still just those 5.
I probably can see that because the show has already pre-established that the Humagears can technically be either one repaired or two replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those that I'm like, I'm fine with that because sure, it could happen kind of deal within the confines of the show. I'm not talking about because of scans or anything.
Yeah. Also, from this episode, I thought about it. I'm going to call it now. Our missing Metsubo Jinrai member, Bo, they're in Ames somewhere. The Raid Riders are modified shot risers.
True.
Like, okay, prop wise, yes, they're modified shot risers. That is clearly evident if you look at the Raid Riser prop. But as was revealed this week, the Raid Riser voice is the same voice actor as the Shot Riser voice.
Huh.
I don't have any credits to back that up, but I can clearly hear it's the same person.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because usually they try to make any kind of different driver distinct enough to where you couldn't tell it.
Yeah. And he's pronouncing it the same way he pronounces Shot Rise.
Huh.
Which makes me once more go, oh, these are modified Shot Risers, because they've clearly showed us that there are a whole bunch of just, like, Shot Risers in the back room of Ames.
But... okay, if these are modified shot risers, then that also could potentially mean that, you know, our new rider, Thouser, could potentially be behind it too.
Yes.
Seeing as how, his company made that.
I know, but I don't think he is. I think it's just Metsubo Jinrai has a mole in Ames.
Or in Zaya.
Yeah, because they've already shown to have a mole in hidden for a while, and it was Ikazuchi. And we're all looking for his brother. Oh, look, guess what organization we're not focusing on in the middle of this rivalry between Hidden Intelligence and fucking Zaya? Oh, look, it's Ames. I wonder where that last one is. The last place anybody's looking at the moment. Especially because we do have the question of, wait, who put Hirobi back online?
True.
Because Yaiba didn't do it, and Yaiba's the only person that we've seen so far who would mess with human gears to any capacity. So if not her, then who? Granted, that's just all me just looking at this week's episode and going, okay, I know, big picture, we're not moving that far forward. But 01 is all about the details, and oh look, we got new details this week.
Well, to be fair, until we hard stalled in X, it was kind of the same pattern with it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of early hints that kind of led to later things. It's just they kind of hit that brick wall where they had nowhere to go.
Yeah. One second. All right, I'm back. I will have to step away because I have to let the dog in.
Ah.
Also, out of curiosity, I'm going to run something by you that someone in a different Discord thought about when it came to the raid risers. The progress keys apparently represent like the opposite of their profession. It was just a general theory. So our flower designer was using the buffa key, which fall in a China's op analogy. And our housing guy was using the whale key. And it specifically, I believe its ability is flood, which, not good for homes.
True.
It's not the most solid of theories, but I'm like, I like at least the soft theming of them.
I wonder if that's intentional, though.
It depends, because I assume the rest of these raid risers are going to be using the rest of those unused progress keys that aren't going to be used for forms outside of the blog. So like Hedgehog, Giraffe, Hercules, not Thouser's Hercules, the other Hercules. But all of those. Anywho, shall we get back to Ghosts? As difficult as that might be. So. All right, we're going to kick things off with episode 1, Eyes Open. It's me. It's a moonlit night as some schmuck with bad teeth summons a pair of not normal icons. These are Genma icons. They're just like supposed to look like actual eyes because they have a little tail and thing for the nerves and stuff. He does a summoning to summon them from a place we won't know about till later. And this is all very supernatural, and that's going to get thrown out the door real quick. And also, I need to step away again. All right, I'm back. So yeah, right. the supernatural aspects of the show are, let's just say, don't make any assumptions just yet. But they turn into our proper monsters for the week by absorbing weapons, which, just for weapon reference, all of the Genma are actually using quote-unquote the Parka Ghost of heroic icons, kind of. But in a not normal way.
Truthfully, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like the monster forms of them.
Pretty much. They're technically using the same system, it's just we won't see anyone really take advantage of it for a while. But after seeing this, we get a bit of a flashback with a young Takaru getting the handle piece of one of Musashi's sword from his father before he dies. We'll come back around to this point later when we talk about Genesis and how they completely retcon all of this.
And that was by completely retcon, you mean completely?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is years ago, because currently Takaru is asleep reading a book in the basement of the temple that his father ran, that he now runs? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't honestly know.
Also, this lab has a monolith in it. Don't worry, that's going to be a plot point for later. Because somebody's going to be like, I don't know anything about this, and I'm going to call bullshit because I know he knows something about it. But he's kind of an asshat, so we'll come back to that. This is where we see Akari, one of our supporting cast members, drop by the temple looking for Takaru, but only finds Onari and then two other monks. I'm going to say monks, Shibuya and Narita. They're not as important for now. They'll be used later for really, really dumb reasons.
Yeah.
But eventually, Kari ends up leaving, and Onari is late to complain about her just showing up and yelling about stuff. We catch up with Kari downstairs in the lab as she wakes up Takaru, asks him why he didn't come to her birthday. Which, by the way, it's also Takaru's birthday, so I guess their birthdays are just back to back. That's a detail I didn't even know about. Granted, we don't know if it's Takaru's birthday until the next episode. We find out that Takaru is more of a history buff than he is a scientist, and he admires the heroes of the past. And by heroes, I mean how many ever heroes besides 15 that are in this book that belong to his dad, I presume. You might ask later why these specific people keep popping up. In universe, really dumb reasons. Out of universe, I have no fucking idea. I think they just picked whoever they could. But we also find out that Takaru apparently wants to be a ghost hunter because his dad was a ghost hunter, and that's just a fun thing to drop out of nowhere. So, wait a minute. So, you run presumably a Buddhist temple because of Onari's exclamation, with a lab underneath, and you're also a ghost hunter. There is a large mix of things and ideas here that I don't think are gelling very well. But okay, sure. But meanwhile, all this, a couple of the ghosts from earlier, or the two we saw earlier, they're technically Genma. They're just out destroying town and literally killing people. Yeah, those people that get thrown out of the swinging boat into a building that then explode. Yeah, they're dead. They are supremely dead. You cannot tell me otherwise.
I mean, we could say otherwise, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah. Back at the temple, our team is hearing about this from a news report. Akari doesn't believe that it's ghosts. Onari, on the other hand, does. Say hello to their entire conflict for the rest of the season. One of them believes in the supernatural bullshit. The other does not believe in the supernatural bullshit. Guess one turns out to be right, that there is supernatural bullshit.
Yeah.
If you're thinking Onari, you're wrong. Spoilers, there is no supernatural bullshit in the series. I'm just gonna put that on the table now. If you think there's supernatural shit going on in this series, you are wrong because you haven't watched enough of the series. You have to find out that that's the twist. It's alien bullshit.
Because of course it is.
It's so dumb. Anyway, Takaru is caught in the middle of this argument between the two of them and does not want to pick a side in this, so he just leaves. So he goes outside to practice his key thing. Don't ask me what he's practicing. I have no idea what it is. They never address it in the show. But before that, we see the mailman is attacked, and surprising enough, this mailman is a supporting cast member because he returns a couple times. But he does get away from the Gemma that is chasing him. He ends up at the temple to deliver a package to Takaru before he is taken away by the other two monks to go investigate the ghost, because they're not important enough to be here yet. So Takaru, with Inari and Akari joining him at the moment, opens up the package to find out, yep, it's a package from his father that was mailed 10 years ago, presumably before he died. And inside is a blank icon. That is our gimmick for this year. And it gives him a quick shock. That lets us see the Gemma that are attacking him at the moment. So they're attacking, and Takaru is the only one that can see them because the icon gave him the ability to see them, which is the only thing it's doing for him at the moment. So he tries to defend his friends and eventually just takes Onari's staff that he had on him and just tries to lead them to this ravine. And while there, he tries to fight him off and ends up murdered for it. +1 on our death counter. Keep that in mind, folks. I hate saying that, but +1. Takaru, why did you go through this? So after dying, Takaru ends up in some random place. I have no idea where the fuck this is. Again, if you think something supernatural is going on, you're wrong. It's not. Where he meets an old man. I'm going to call him Asshole. Technically, his name is Sage, or Senin, or something else. He's an asshole. As you'll soon find out. More or less, he's there to tell Takaru, hey, you got a fancy icon that's now your icon because it's got your soul in it. You can become a writer called Kamen Rider Ghost. Do it, and you get a second chance at life. If not, well, you're dead for good. What do you choose? So Takaru ends up choosing to live, so he is revived, but now he's invisible to his friends because he's actually a ghost. Like, legitimately, he's a ghost. But he then transforms to fight the Gemma. And how do you feel about Ghost design?
I think I like it because of the way the gimmick is designed around it, more so than just liking it on its own kind of deal. Like, I don't think it's bad, but at the same time, I feel like it's kind of a little plain.
Yeah.
Which, I guess that's a good thing.
I found it funny once the show premiered that the early rumor for Ghost was that it was a fashion design show, or fashion design theme show.
That is funny.
Which is not true, except for the part about clothes being the gimmick, which in this show's case, yes, that is true, technically. Which, from then on, I've always believed that, yeah, whatever prominent writer rumor gets brought up, there's actually kind of a kernel of truth in there. We just have to figure out what part is the actual true part. And everything else is just nonsense. Anywho, Takaru ends up doing well in this fight, since he can fly. He's not going to use that for very long. We ain't got the budget to put him on wires and swing him around kind of limply.
Yeah. Like, that just feels so unnatural, the way that he's doing it.
Yeah. But unfortunately, his overconfidence in his flying gets him smacked in the face. This will be the first time of multiple this will happen to him. But because of this, we find out, yes, I still feel pain. Oh, also by this point, Urisen's been introduced. I might have skipped over Urisen's introduction since he's kind of pointless.
Kinda?
He's this little ghost puppet thing that floats around and tells Takaru he's a dumbass because he keeps forgetting things. And also tells him about stuff.
Takaru the thing that we all already know.
Yes, there's stuff he should know already. Like, by the way, I have this thing that you could use. I forgot to tell you about it. But yeah, anywho, after this, Takaru charges up his right kick and kicks one of the Genma, and he's dead. Okay, I should probably save this for the other 4 episodes, but I kind of want to talk about it now. Does it feel like all the fight scenes in the show are short? Or is it just me? It feels like we're always getting the cliff notes of the fight of just like punch, punch, kick. Takaru like ends up losing the fight until he can get an opening, and then he pops a finisher, and we're done.
Yeah, I completely have to agree with that.
Because I was thinking, I was just like, these fights feel weird. This doesn't feel right. But good to know I'm not crazy in thinking that. But anywho, Takaru celebrates his victory, except he forgot that there's another Genma who runs off telling him to come follow him. So Takaru has to go chase him on his bike.
Because we have to get bike in.
Yeah, we have to get the bike in for all of like not that long. There's a reason the bike has been supremely de-emphasized to the point of not every rider has a bike anymore in the series. But anyway, some bike stunts later. We're at a beach. Takaru's cornered him there, only for the Genma to pop a bunch more icons out to give him some goons that quickly overwhelm Takaru. So he's kind of pushed into a corner until he believes in Musashi enough that the little handle thing starts glowing, and Yurisen pops up to tell him to draw an eye on it, and then it turns into a Parka ghost, which is actually Musashi's ghost, as we'll find out later. Don't worry about that part.
Yeah, that part won't be important for a little while.
Yeah, technically this is actually Musashi, but he doesn't talk for several dozen episodes. The same with all of them. Anyway, it ends up going into the driver to become the Musashi icon. And in the middle of this, asshole turns up in big head mode to block a shot in order to tell Takaru what to do and to give him a chance to transform. Yay. Again, you think supernatural stuff's going on? Nope. So Takaru has managed to turn into get his Musashi form, so now he has the Musashi Parka. So now Takaru, with his sword now in it's 2-sword mode, because his sword has several dozen modes across many different forms with many different attachments, because oh boy did we go far too much with the weapon. He slices and dices his way through all the goons and the Genma, and it's done. Yay! On a cliff side, we check in with our main villains for this part of the show, which is Saionji, who's the guy with bad teeth that we saw earlier in the episode, and Alan, who's not important until we get past the movie. Not really. He is a background player at best. The same with Saionji, until we get to before the movie. But they talk in the shadows about the new interference they're dealing with, which is, of course, Takaru. Back at the temple, Takaru finds out he can control his visibility with his emotions.
Because thanks for, keeping that information withheld.
Yep, thanks, Yurisen. Appreciate it. So, he finally visible to Nari Nakari. He tells them, by the way, I'm dead, which is mixed results to the both of them. And arguing later, he just leaves and goes downstairs, where he finds out that Sage, the asshole, has moved in downstairs. Because, why not? And, oh, by the way, you're on a 99-day time limit, and unless you get all 15 heroic icons, the Musashi is the first one of them, you're super dead. So, have fun finding them. So we end with 98 days left. Yay! Which takes us to episode 2, Blitz Inventor King. Last time on Ghost. Oh god, I forgot that this is in every single goddamn episode. Every goddamn episode. Damn it, Takaru. I don't need you to tell me that you died in the first episode every fucking week. We get it. Just recap the important stuff and move on.
Did you know he died?
Yes, you're gonna die like 3 more times. Thank you, I know.
One of those 3 times will be very soon.
Excuse me, 4 more times. My bad. I forgot about
one.
Yeah, I forgot one. I forgot he dies in two of the movies. Not one of them.
Oh. Oh, okay. At least 2 of the movies.
Yes. Don't worry. Someone else.
For all we know, he might have another one.
Don't worry. I know he doesn't die in Spectre. And someone else dies in Ichigo. So he's safe on those.
You sure it's not just Takaru in disguise?
I'm gonna hope it's not Takaru in disguise, because I'm pretty sure he can't pull it off.
I mean, he's good at dying. He's really good at it.
Oh, God.
Because, he does it a lot.
Yeah.
Anyone that does something a lot, they have to be good at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know he dies for boost. Does he literally die for every upgrade?
He does not die for Grateful.
Okay, good.
He dies for Mugen.
You know what? Maybe it was maybe it was Grateful that I got close to seeing.
Probably. I was about to say, do you remember anything about Necrom?
A little.
Okay, then you probably
when we get to the point, I'll probably be able to pinpoint where I just said screw this show.
Yeah.
Because chances are it might happen a second time.
Yeah, no, he dies for Mugen, and then he dies in Heisei Generations, and then he dies in the 100 Icon movie. Okay, let me specify. He's clinically dead in Heisei Generations because his heart starts beating.
Okay.
So clinically speaking, he is dead in that movie, so I'm counting it. Anywho.
Kicking off, that might be the only time he actually dies. The rest of this could just be some kind of alien magic garbage.
Oh no, he dies in the 100 Icons. But we'll get to that.
Well, then good. At least he's only died twice, then technically. Because we could blame the rest on it's just weird alien magic stuff.
Yeah. Anywho, we kick off with the episode with Takaru questioning current events, because these are questions that are never going to be answered, like, why did my dad send me an icon? I don't think we ever get the answer to that, to be honest. Meanwhile, Onari is making a calendar to track the 99 days, while Okari tries to find a scientific solution to this, including cracking open his icon, which, would be a bad idea. An extremely bad idea, just for reference. Knowing full well what will happen.
I mean, maybe not.
Oh no, I know what happens when that icon breaks. Spoilers, that's one of his dead moments.
One of his dead moments, or just one of his dead moments in the show?
One of his dead moments.
Okay.
No, he's dead when that happens.
Okay.
Remember, his soul is actually shoved in that thing. That's legitimate. Anyway, after the two of them argue some more, Takaru just disappears to go, like, not be with them for a little bit. So he goes downstairs to run into Asshole, who tells him, by the way, Edison's the next icon, goodbye.
Because that seems to be the recurring theme.
Why does he know this? Because he read the script, probably. I think I know the actual reason why, but we'll get there. Also, just as a quick, like, overview note, why does Takaru not have a list of who's going to be a potential icon, considering they're all in the book? Spoilers, the names of all 15 heroic icons are in the book.
Because... plot reasons?
I guess.
And I only say that because the only answer is no one's smart enough to figure that out.
Apparently.
I think what would be worse is if they were the only 15 in the book, too.
I'm willing to bet they're the only 15 in the book.
Then it would really be bad.
Because the book does not look that thick, and there are multiple pages per person from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Also, we get into the establishment of one of the mechanics of how to make an icon, which is just a person needs to have a strong emotion towards a person of the past. You need an item that was in the possession of that person in the past, and then you draw an eye symbol on that icon, on that object when they are in synchronous with the object, and oh, poof, poof.
Except for we later figure out what actually happens, when it's not done in that way.
Yes.
Basically, these icons come from something getting poofed.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it ambiguous as that.
Yes.
Because we'll get to it.
Also, he says he has no idea what the monolith is. Bullshit. I know you know what that monolith is. Spoilers. There's a monolith down for reference, there is a monolith in the basement that has the same symbol as Takaru's ghost suit has. Again, nobody seems to point out that part of just like, wait a minute, this has the same symbol as you. Are you sure you don't know anything about this? You gave me a thing that has the same symbol. What do you mean you don't know? How do you not know?
It's almost like he's gotten his power from the enemy.
Elsewhere, we see Saionji is busy giving the stuff to someone else to do the summoning. Spoilers, it's the guy we're going to run into in 5 seconds. And then we see Unari and Kairi separately get pulled into an investigation for our mystery for the week, which is a series of power outages that keep happening, and the two of them manage to track it to some guy's lab. This guy's working on a teleporter, I believe. I'm remembering it as a teleporter.
It is anyhow.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to say, he's working on a teleporter.
Air quotes.
Yes. He's a bit crazy, if you cannot tell from the fact that he has a bit of the wild hair that is a very off color of yellow. And
which
yes, he is being...
also kind of, foreshadowing.
Yep. And he's also being held by a Gemma who's telling him what to do, so,
This won't end badly at all.
Nope. Kairi tries to talk to him, scientist to scientist, because Kairi's a scientist.
I swear, I think this cord just broke.
Nah. Are we good?
I hate Discord sometimes. Why? I thought I fixed that.
Anyway, the note I was on. Kairi tries talking to him, goes nowhere. But then Takaru and Onari arrive, and they get him this fanboy about Edison, so now we get to have a conversation with the mad scientist. Because he's all up on Edison, because people pointed out when Ghost was airing that, like, you know, none of these people could be considered heroes because they're all kind of shitty people in certain ways. You know, it's not like Edison electrocuted an elephant to death on live television back in the day to prove a point in his rivalry with Newton, or not with Newton, no, with Tesla. By the way, that actually happened. Look, there's a reason we don't get too many details on these people's past histories because you don't want to know some of the things that these people did. But yeah, he also has a light bulb of Edison's, so there's our object for the week. But of course, since Takaru can see the Genma, he spots the Genma immediately and transforms to fight him. The two proceed to take it outside, but unfortunately Takaru is currently weak to electric types, especially in Musashi form, so he gets electrocuted and the Genma gets away. That is the entire fight scene shortened into like 5 seconds.
And the fight scene actually wasn't much longer than that.
Nope. Takaru ends up getting back to his team. They only find that the scientist is gone, and Onari heads out to find him. While this is happening, Akari does her best to try to cheer Takaru up, since, you know, his life is very finite and knowable at the moment, and that's kind of depressing. So they get a little reminiscent and cheer him up. The next day, Onari manages to find out where the scientist is, and the three of them head out to go find him. They do find him at some power plant, I think, of some sort. Because, of course, he's at a power plant, because he needs more power. They try to stop him, but he refuses, saying that he will be the next Edison, which is an important plot point. I can't believe I have to mention that is a plot point. Unfortunately, his transporter turns out to be a method to open a wormhole to the other side. Spoilers, it's the Genma world. It's an alien world. It's where all the Genma come from. But after Takaru tells him, hey, you're helping the bad people, he tries to stop it, while Takaru fights off the Genma. But all this synchronizes him with the light bulb so Takaru can summon the Parka, except the Genma smacked him away and absorbed the Parka, and now he's a giant electric boat thing. I don't know how else to describe it. Because I feel like that describes it about as well as you can expect it to be.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then it runs away, and unfortunately Akari gets stuck to the bow of it. So she's being run along in midair by something she can't see. Takaru gives chase on his bike. Unfortunately, it is not good enough. And as it climbs up a building, Akari gets thrown off, only for Urison to drop by with Captain Ghost, the CG half a ghost ship that has legs on it. That is in, I think, a total of like 4 episodes.
I was gonna say that we barely see.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think in any post-series stuff we ever see.
Nope. There's another thing we also don't see past this episode also. But it saves Akari, gets her to the ground. But with the ghost ship, Takaru combined it with his bike to make an iguana. Just a giant iguana that he rides.
Because,
it's a thing.
You know, boat plus bike equals lizard.
Did it make sense?
Sure. So
with Akari saved and Nari looking after her, Takaru and the iguana fight the Genma. The iguana drops him off while it goes fights the boat on its own, because Takaru needs to close the portal, so he does his giant icon finisher, which is only in this episode, mind you. even though it is a thing in the toy, and a thing every icon in the series can do, except the major ones. Or except, like, Grateful and Mugen can't do it, but I think every other icon in the series can do it. This one time, just kicks a giant icon into the portal, closes it. That's done. The iguana manages to blow up the giant Gamma and separate it from the parka. So Takaru now has Edison, and now he's electric type with the ability to absorb electricity, meaning he can charge up a finisher and blow up the Genmas, and we're gonna call it a day there. Very fast fight scenes.
Yep.
Not very satisfying fight scenes, too.
Because pretty much the recurring theme, at least with these four, and I think it actually stays for a while, is transform, lose, do some stuff, plot stuff, transform, get new form, kill bad guy, done.
More or less, it's a race to the finish. Or in this case, race to the finisher.
It's not even that. Because, like, most of the time, it's, okay, I see you, finisher. There's no real fight.
Yeah. By the way, Sionji and Alan are continuing to lurk in the background and continuing to plot with stuff that doesn't fucking matter, so they are here, they exist, they're the ones behind this. That is the short and long of every fucking scene involving them so far. And across all 4 of these episodes. It is so hilarious to think Alan is the standout character of the series for most people, and yet he has nothing so far. Nothing. People take him over Takaru and Makoto at a drop of a hat. Keep that in mind. Anywho, Takaru apparently was going to see if he could give the icon back to the guy since the light bulb turned into the icon, but the scientist is like, nah, you keep it. I don't know why Takaru was trying to do this, considering he needs that, to revive.
And I think, isn't this pretty much the only time we ever see that?
Yes.
So...
Anyway, back at the temple, Takaru tries to call into asshole on the Condor phone. By the way, that's a phone that turns into a bird that can also talk to somebody through time. Bookmark that one for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and don't ask questions, it just does.
Yep. Unfortunately, he only gets his voicemail, so super helpful there. Meanwhile, we see that Akari is all beat up and injured and being looked after, and they all have a laugh over her near-death experience, over the fact that she got saved by an iguana. Anyway, we end the episode with the fact that the temple now has a paranormal investigation agency established within it, so they can all go off and investigate more not ghosts. Because the Gemma are technically not ghosts. The only ghosts in the series are the park ghosts, actually, and Takaru.
I was gonna say, and Mr. Deadpants.
Yep. So, how are you feeling halfway through what is not a 2-parter?
I can't even say that it's because of us coming off of Forza. Because, I originally thought that it was because of us coming out of Drive was the reason why this kind of just felt meh. No. No.
No.
No, this legitimately is just meh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because we don't really have any interesting mysteries or anything going on besides, oh, Takaru's father died to something. It feels like we have, really vague things instead of, hard questions.
Well, we have absolutely no kind of setup. Because there is no there's really no purpose for it even. 'Cause yeah, he's supposed to get all the icons to potentially maybe be able to bring himself back to life, because bear in mind, he was told that he would have the power to do anything he wanted.
Yeah.
Never once did he explicitly say, you can revive yourself with this. That all came from Takaru.
Well, spoilers, he can revive himself with this, but he chooses not to.
Yeah. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying, even that, I feel like they attempted to try to make it set up for something, but it just falls short. Because we immediately drop it and change to, he's going to revive himself. It's one of those, I see where they wanted to do stuff, but I also feel like the follow through wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like there was plenty of different little scenes and stuff that was said that should have set up more than it did, and it just falls short because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why it's a meh.
Yeah, this is not the most interesting of starts. It doesn't help that I know where all this goes, and I'm just like, wow, so much of the setup goes out fucking nowhere.
Like, in all seriousness, what's bad is I feel like the next episode does a little more than both of these did.
Yeah.
Because by the end of that, at least at that point, Takaru has a goal of what he's going to try to do while he's getting these icons. And that more kind of brings back that whole, he might decide to try to do something different than just revive himself kind of idea, but then they still keep shooting it down, so it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be more critical on the show going forward this time.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get to some critical points, because we're going to talk episode 3, Bullseye, Bow and Arrow of Justice. We're at a mansion where some person is robbing the place of its valuables with their force powers. They're quite literal force powers of just like shove, shove, shove. They're dubbed Little John by a news report from some girl later on. Totally not a coincidence on that one, considering what we're dealing with this week.
Yeah.
But the reason they're dubbed Little John is because they steal from the rich and give to the poor. And yes, they are, of course, working for Sionji, because of course he's the one behind this. Checking in with Takaru at the temple, he's reading his book some more, when Sage dropped by to be like, yo, Robin Hood's the next icon. Goodbye. He is literally only here for the trivia segment of the episode, and then he's gone.
Yep.
What the fuck? I know you know more. I literally know you know more. Why are you not talking to them about this? Why? This is literally going against your plans.
You know, I get him being dodgy on some of Takaru's questions, because he has had those questions where he's trying to prod the right information out. And it's a case of, we don't want to break that right now.
Yeah.
But when it's only detrimental to that week's episode, why not just go ahead?
Yeah.
Like, why not give that false sense of, okay, he might slip and give us some of his plans in this method?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of failed on the suspense there, writers. Just saying.
Also, I love how Robin Hood is treated as a historic figure in the show when Robin Hood is, in fact, not a historic figure. He is a legend. He is fiction.
Mm-hmm.
He's not real. Thanks, show. Also, why is this show, which is all about historic figures, not using King Arthur at all? Like, yes, King Arthur is fiction, but so is Robin Hood. Why are you not using King Arthur, considering you use Excalibur as a naming scheme for several dozen weapons in this fucking franchise? Why?
Because reasons.
That's so weird, in my opinion. Yeah, also, this is where I put in the notes about, wait, why do you not know which ones are in play when they're all in the book? Literally, they're all in the book. Because, spoilers, his father went and picked all of these heroic figures to start with. For a really dumb reason.
I mean, that's kind of on par with the show.
Yeah. This is when Onari drops by because they got their next case, which of course is going to be tracking down Little John. If you didn't think it was, I don't know what to tell you. This is where they see the report by the female reporter who dubs the thief the name, and that makes her totally not inconsequential to this episode. She's just the reporter lady. She's not important.
Yeah, she's not like super important or anything.
This is where our team splits up. Akari is going to go downstairs to the lab to try to research the information that is in these old ass computer banks that are on the back wall that look like they're literal tape computer machines out of like a Bond film. Some old tech down here from not that long ago. Takaru's going to go off to talk to a reporter with the business cards in his hands because, of course, Onari made them all business cards for the paranormal investigation. Meanwhile, Onari is going to be recruited to protect some old guy from Little John that's going to drop by here in 5 seconds. But after that, we check in with Takaru as he's talking to a reporter to find out that she really likes totally historic figure for Robin Hood, as I put in my notes. So just like, right. The show's treating him as a historic figure, even though he's not at all. Whatever. But yeah, she really likes Robin Hood. Guess who's giving us the icon this week?
Mm-hmm.
Also, just to drive home the parallel, she has the same kind of backstory of Takaru, of her father died in probably bad mean. I forget how she died. He died. He was a police officer, right? And he died in a shooting from mob, Yakuza, whatever. More or less, crime took her father away, and she wants to like make it right by it. But yeah, it gives them paralleling backstories, the drive home, the connection there.
And I think even Takaru makes a comment about he's the same way.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we check in with Akari, who's downstairs, who finally manages to get into the old computers and finds a formula to make the Genma visible. And also make Takaru visible, because they're not going to make him invisible for every fight from forever. Back over with Onari, though, we see him trying to help the guy, but Little John already shows up there with a Genma in tow, which is the thing responsible for her force powers. And she goes ahead and steals a bow and arrow that totally belonged to Robin Hood.
Because, no one else had bows and arrows.
Also, that would be extremely fragile at this point.
Yeah.
I love how shows just sometimes treat historical artifacts as totally not extremely fragile. Because, for reference, the United States Constitution, which is younger than this bow and arrow presumably would be, has to be kept in a sealed case and can only be taken out and examined in a sealed, vacuumed room. And that's just paper. Like, this shit should be fucking dust in her hands, considering it is out in the fucking open.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a pedestal. But anywho. Takaru manages to arrive in time, and he gets to fight the Gamma for a little bit. While Little John gets away, but Onari's chasing it on foot. Bear in mind, Little John gets away in a car, and Onari's chasing it on foot. And somehow manages to keep up.
Because reasons.
Back with Takaru, though, he can only really deflect the axes that have been thrown at him by the Gamma, which the Gamma uses to get away because it distracts him with it. So that's that fight scene done. But back over Akari, a little help from Asshole, who drops a bottle of something to make the powder that makes the Gamma visible work. So she gets to beat him real quick for a hot minute, and then he's just like, by the way, it's only temporary, goodbye! So we go back over to Onari, who manages to find Little John's hideout, only to get immediately captured. But he does get a phone call in real quick to tell Takaru, by the way, I found the location. Oh no, I've been kidnapped, goodbye! But since he called the Condor phone, which I don't know how he has the number of, or what the number even is, now that I think about it. Apparently the Condor phone can just go, oh, he called from here, so let's go over here. Am I the only one that thinks that's weird?
I mean... yeah.
Okay. I'm just like, wait a minute, isn't this just like with Forza, how Gentro changed phones, but then randomly in one episode he had his regular phone back? After using the mag phone since it got invented? Because I forgot to mention that when we were watching Forza.
No, I think it did come up at one point.
Okay. It was just in one episode he's just using his regular phone, and I'm just like, wait a minute, why are you not using your mag phone? Is it just for club purposes? And everyone else just calls your regular phone? Why do you need two phones on you?
Oh, I mean, he's going to be friends with everyone, so... that way he can talk to two people at once.
I guess. So, the Condor phone leads Takaru and Akari to the hideout, and they find out, oh yeah, the reporter is Little John. And she says she'll be the next Robin Hood, and that causes her to sync with the bow and arrow the wrong way. And by wrong way, I mean she's going to trade her life to revive Robin Hood, essentially. I guess, kind of. But she starts the process to trade her life for the parka, like the Genmo one, because they want to do it that way, because I guess it's an easier way. But Takaru interrupts it, and means that won't matter. And I'm being quite serious when I say that. The thing you will see Takaru do to interrupt this process for several episodes goes nowhere. It will never be addressed once we're done. Never. Ever. Ever. So what this is? Fuck if I know. Any case, he interrupts the process. And this is when Akari reveals her leaf blower that she's turned into a gun to shoot dust through a game cartridge. I swear that's a game cartridge. But it reveals the Genma, and Takaru transforms, and Akari and Onari get to see him transform for once. Which I forgot to mention, for some reason, Ghost is like the one writer series that uses stock transformations since like the Showa era. And I'm not sure why. Did you find this weird, or is it just me?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, after transforming, he gets the Robin Hood icon. And Ghost fights the Gamma. Unfortunately, it has a shield that he can't pierce, even with Robin Hood's bow and arrow configuration with the Condor phone, which looks unwieldy as fuck. Like, even as a prop, it looks unwieldy. Because it's all, like, front-loaded and just like, oh, this looks like a hell to work with, even as a stunt actor. It'd be better if it was just a crossbow. just flip it 90 degrees. It's a crossbow. That works so much better. I don't know why it's not just a crossbow. But Onari does manage to spot a hole in the shield that the Genma has to throw the axes. So with Robin Hood's weapon, Takaru pops him right through the hole, and kaboom, it's dead. Al and Saionji are continuing to watch and observe and be in the background. But also, Makoto's in the background in this episode, watching and waiting in the background for next episode. Yay, everybody doing jack shit on the sidelines. We end the episode with the reporter turning himself in and Onari getting a pep talk because, he fucked up and got himself kidnapped, but he got a good advice, so all's well. Which takes us to our last episode for the week. Episode 4, Amazing, the Castle in the Sky. We're back down the lab as the team discussed rumors of Saionji because the other two people managed to get a sketch of him at some point, so now they know that Saionji exists, but they don't have a name to him. But unfortunately, Takaru still needs 12 more icons. I note that because of later. Sage shows up to tell everybody, by the way, things are going to get difficult from here. But also, Nobunaga's next. Bye. This is when we get a guy from some corporation dropping by to say, yeah, my boss went a little bit cuckoo crazy and is kind of cutthroat now. I need you to go find out why. Also, I'm coming to you because there's a bunch of floating shit around, floating shit going around at the office and other places. So that's why I called you. I feel like one of these is far more important than the others. Maybe you should have told this in the other order. But anywho, at the office, Takaru is being shown around by the guy. But he ends up spotting the Genma and has to save some guy who got told off by the boss before he goes splat because he gets dragged up to the roof and thrown over. But Takaru manages to save him and then has to fight our Alice in Wonderland Genma is the best way I can describe him, because I think he's supposed to be for the author of Alice in Wonderland. Unfortunately, he has a shadow clone technique, and Takaru only blew up his clone so it can escape. But after the fight, we see a blue rider, a Spectre, at a different time of day from when the scene cut, is in the background, all lit up, watching again. I love that. I loved how the time of day changed in the blink of the eye, just so we could do the lit up bot scene. Tommy, you awake? Hopefully Discord doesn't break. Okay, good. Discord's not breaking yet. Anywho, at another office, Sakari takes note of the map the company has bought a bunch of assets on, while Takaru is investigating the president some more. Takaru is in his office looking around, but is visible, so the sky sees him. But they end up getting to talk over a letter he has from Nobunaga from way back in the day that his family has passed down. So Yes, he is a fanboy of Nobunaga. Yes, he's the one going to bequeath our icon this week. Bit on the nose every time. We also find out that he knows about the temple because he knew Takaru's father, who was investigating this letter. Like I said, we'll get to the reason Takaru's father was looking into all these different people with all these different things for different heroic people much, much, much later, and it's kind of dumb. This is when the secretary for the president drops by and shoos Takaru away, only for him to go invisible and turn right back around and go in the office to find out, oh, the security is pushing the president's buttons to go be aggressive and be more like Nobunaga. I wonder why. This is where we check on Akari, and she shows, hey, all their assets seems to be in the shape of an eye. That's not suspicious, and not going to cause us problems. This is when they see objects start levitating, and we see that the Genma has more or less shadow cloned himself to all these different buildings to levitate a part of the city out of the ground, using some of the CG assets from O's Wonderful. Because, of course, they reuse assets in this way. And it's really obvious they are. But this prompts Takaru to go to the roof. Where he has to interrupt the whole trading a soul for an icon ceremony again. And this is when we find out that, yeah, Genma was possessing the secretary. Although we find out much later, but I want to say that now. And Takaru has to fight the other Genma from earlier. And thanks to a combo finisher, the regular driver finisher, plus the scanning the weapon finisher, he puts the Genma down. And a nice visually looking scene, but once more a very short fight scene. Unfortunately, since he blew up the Genma, the city's falling, which is not good. And Takaru chooses to help the city over getting the new icon because the guy synced with the icon while all this shit was going down. Meanwhile, we check in with Alan real quick, who pops more of those little small Genma icons to go spread out and, I guess, find hosts in the city. This is where Takaru gets reminded by Eurus, and by the way, we have the Edison icon, or not, the Newton icon, because we got it a few weeks ago when we teamed up with Tamari for the End of Drive, which we didn't talk about because we haven't talked about Drive in forever.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, because I believe doesn't that take place over the entire day? Because it ends.
So?
Because I believe it ended on a night scene with Tamari getting more or less redemption from the accident that injured his partner from before the show by saving Kiriko in the proper way. So, yeah, for reference, that entire episode happened in the middle of this episode at some point. I don't know when, but it did. Because like I said at the top, Takaru only has 13 icons to go, not 12. Or no, 12 icons to go, not 11, my bad. I miscounted. But anyway, he uses Newton to stop the city from falling and just gently puts it back in place. And also forgets that he can turn invisible. And turn intangible. So he doesn't get crushed. But he heads back to the roof. He does arrive in time to summon Nobunaga and stop the Genma that was possessing the secretary. Unfortunately, this is when Spectre arrives and tells Nobunaga to join him. And Nobunaga agrees, even though Takaru was the one who summoned them, but whatever.
Also, by the way, thank you, Wiki. Yeah. The episode kind of has a problem.
What was the problem?
Well, seeing as how it takes place at the closest, like 3 days before Ghost actually gets his powers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to check for that. Check for the time stamping because the show does have a hard date. By the way, the date it starts is the day the show aired. You can tell from the parcel.
Well,
or the pack.
The wiki says that the events occur around the end of September and the beginning of October because of Nosuke's promotion on the 1st. Ghost didn't have his powers till the 4th. So there is no physical way that happens.
Let's also not bring up how Ghost cameoed in Surprise Future as well.
I mean, that one, there's time travel shenanigans, so we can just say that happened.
Yeah.
But this one, no.
So yeah, continuity. Ghost doesn't like continuity.
Also, I'm gonna put this out there now. This is the first of many, and I do mean many times where continuity breaks for Ghost.
Yeah. Somebody didn't check their notes.
And what's bad is it's not just at the early part, it goes for just about everything Ghost is a part of.
Yep. So yeah, Spectre has the Nobunaga icon now, and he leaves. Alan gives him the name Spectre, or says that his name is Spectre. So our team has now solved the case, but they are short one icon. And that night, we end the episode with Sage going like, I told him, I didn't know, totally, absolutely not. I just said things are going to be a problem. Also, I'm just going to tell you that the Gamma can't force someone to summon an icon. So, that's about the most important thing I get to tell you this week. Goodbye. That's the other half of the episodes. How do you feel?
As I said before, I felt like episode 3 did better than the first 2. Not good, though. Still on the meh.
It doesn't help for me that I'm just like, wow, nothing in these episodes matter. Outside of Akari continuing to develop stuff to reveal the Genma, nothing in these set of episodes matter outside of the getting of the icons. Literally nothing. Like the thing about Takaru's father investigating the letter, that will get brought up way later than should be. Also, someone on this cast knows exactly why he was doing that and doesn't want to talk about it.
Of course.
Almost like there's one character on this cast that knows everything but refuses to talk about any of it because of reasons I don't know, to be honest. So yeah, I just... I am just waiting to get past all of this garbage and through to the boost stuff, because that's when the show more or less kind of soft rebooted itself sometime around there, and in The Grateful is when the show soft rebooted itself, and that's when shit mattered. For reference, the show soft rebooted halfway through. That's why I say all the icons can. That's why I say it's literally Musashi, because spoilers, all the icons can talk halfway through the show. I mean, yeah, that just, it's meh. It's the really, really slow, boring part of Ghost at the beginning that I'm like, oh, I'd rather hop into this after Boost. Granted, there's still problems after boost. But anything else?
Don't guess so.
Alright then, next week we pick up from here. We get to do more icons like Billy the Kid and Beethoven. Beethoven at least has my favorite jingle of this fucking series. It's still one of my favorite jingles of this series. But anywho, I accidentally smacked a part of my headset and knocked out audio on half of it. Oops.
Yeah, whoops.
Good thing is I didn't knock it that hard.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our next week is 4 more icons ish. We have a lot of icons to get through. But until then, we have plenty of stuff this week. I'm wrapping up Muramos of the Demon Blade, doing more Ace Attorney, and also starting Kingdom Hearts 3 with the Remind DLC and the story patch on Thursday. Yay! I can't wait. I think I'm mostly going to just hop into Biz's chat because he's going to do the super bosses. And also, I don't mind getting spoiled on what happens in Remind because I don't care. I already know everything that happens in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm just like, fuck me up with the story patch Remind stuff. So let's go. Let's see what happens. But we got that. We got more Pokemon. The different Nuzlocke Rule Challenge Friday. The podcast Saturday, and then back around to this on Sunday. So if you enjoy what you're watching, drop us a follow. We really appreciate it. Chipping away at that follower goal. At TG Saloon on Twitter, we'll get you updates on when we go live, and !point Discord in chat, which is the Discord link. Drop us a question. We'll answer it here or on TGS. Depends on where it's more relevant. Excuse me. But that'll do it for me and for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.